Welcome to the Coach's Road, where basketball coaches travel, with College Recruiting Coordinator, Coach Don Burrows.
Hi, Coach Burrows, traveling the Coach's Basketball Road with you, episode number 36. For most of the 20th century, one of the biggest momentum plays in basketball did not exist in the box score. The biography is of the steal, another long-ignored child of the statistic family that has grown up to be a prominent basketball citizen. Early in the 20th century, Spalding guides did not talk about steals. No such name existed. Spalding and newspaper coverage talked about interceptions because it was a well-known football term, and taking the ball away on defense. Otherwise, it was like this film shows from a 1938 practice by City College of New York. Chest to chest, guard your man, challenge the shot, try not to switch, let your man through. Very little, if any, help side. Those Spalding manuals told players to stay between your man and the basket, which is still true today. As the decades rolled and the game grew, coaches praised ball hawks and interfering with passes, but the box score did not keep the statistic. If it could be quoted in this biography, the steal would point to one of the earliest of those ball hawking in the grill of his opponent defenders, Nat Holman. The steal archetype, you might say. The scouting and reporting language around him screams, first recognized great defensive playmaker. Holman, a 5'11 guard from New York, is more known for his coaching days at CCNY. In 1950, his team won both the NIT and the NCAA title. That will never be equaled because the NIT is so different now. But in his playing days, he was a star playmaker for the most famous basketball team of its time. The original Celtics of the 1920s, the barnstorming team from New York. To be an original Celtic then was to be a Yankee in pinstripes in Major League Baseball. Contemporaries and newspaper reporters describe Holman as poetry in motion, as a ball-handling playmaker and a ball hawk on defense. A combination of handling on offense, hunting the ball on defense. So what kind of defender was he? There are different types of steals, as you know. Off-the-ball steals, like Jordan famously coming from help side on Utah Jazz, Karl Malone. And there's on the ball, commonly described these days as get in their grill defense. Here's an example. You were a great on-ball defender if you could guard Jordan by yourself. Joe Dumars of the Pistons. We'll look at the NBA top 10 steals shortly. Holman is chronicled to have been excellent at both types of steals when the game was barely 30 years old and the stat unnamed. For decades, defense was measured by team points allowed. This becomes murky in the NBA 1950, the infamous final score 19-18 game. It remains the lowest score in NBA history, and not because of great defense. It was a stall from the opening tip. The plan, Fort Wayne just held the ball to make sure the Lakers' 6'10" future Hall of Famer George Mikan could not touch it and score. You can see Mikan, who was not an easy man to rile, was not happy with this idea. Stall ball was different than deliberate ball. It was dull. Not only was there no offense, there was no defense, just standing. Fans didn't appreciate keep-away ball. Therefore, owners didn't like it either. They detested anything that threatened their wallet. There's a benefit. It leads to the 24-second shot clock in 1954. Episode 8 is the full story of the shot clock. But holding teams to low scores could still be a measure. College basketball had a huge impact on shaping the identity of our biography subject. The mid-1950s, the University of San Francisco becomes national champion back-to-back, 55 consecutive wins, with titles in 1955, undefeated in 1956, 29 wins, no losses. Since we cannot get true steal numbers, we see that USF's defense was elite across the board. Head coach Phil Wolpert had an insight that to take full advantage of Russell's rare defensive skills as a trend-setting rim protector, he would pressure the perimeter with his gifted guard stalking steals. Beat the perimeter pressure? Meet Mr. Russell. Casey Jones, who was also part of the Celtics domination of the 50s and 60s, was described by Sports Illustrated as a guard causing defensive havoc, a pickpocket, harassing the perimeter while Russell could stay anchored near the rim. This team gave up just 52 points a game, which was absolutely an accurate description of a great defense in this case. Yes, it was a deliberate offense, but not stalling. It was to create good shots and utilize Russell's size and ability on offense, which I too often overlook. What an excellent scorer the man was. In college, he averaged 20 points per game, pros 16, and he could run in the Celtic fast break, get a defensive rebound to start it, and the basket to finish it. In the 1950s, college defenses are hunting the steal. Hank Iba, Oklahoma State, his was called the swinging gate defense. John Wooden, UCLA, young man then, heavy on ball pressure. Adolph Rupp's UK team, sticky man-to-man. All used denial defense, making steals a catalyst to their offense. Bob Spear was the Air Force head coach. He was dealing with cadet height limitations and other restrictions about being accepted into the Air Force. So he taught pressure defense to deny, effective enough for a period of time. It was called Air Force overplay. There was an assistant coach there named Dean Smith. When he became head coach at North Carolina at age 30, he taught Air Force overplay. And with North Carolina rules not prohibiting height or superior athletes, Coach Smith took it to the next level. This is instructional film from the late 1960s, early 70s. Coach Smith taught deny to his team, which meant not just get between your man and the rim, but when one pass away, get between the ball and your man. The North Carolina team so effective, the era of calling it Air Force overplay ends. It becomes deny defense that we know today. Getting into the passing lanes. Don't let teams get comfortable on offense, just swinging the ball from side to side. If you have the personnel to do it, coaches know deny defense is easier said than done. Here are the top 10 steal leaders in NBA history, or anyway since 1973. The first 9 are guards. As we record late 2025, only LeBron and Paul are not in the Naismith because both are still playing, but they'll be in the Hall of Fame. What it shows me is star-studded players known for offense are also excellent on defense and steals. There are so many greats of the past, elite players, elite defenders, too many to name, that had played their careers without this statistic and might have been on this list. Now, say you're not in this all-time top 10. Players still deserve credit for a steal. 1955, Syracuse beats the Fort Wayne Pistons in 7 games for the NBA title. Here's the deciding play. Syracuse on defense in white, protecting a 1-point lead, 5 seconds to go. A steal by guard George King. And the celebration was on. NBA champions. It's the biggest play of the 1955 season, and it doesn't make the box score. Although it did make the list as one of the top 60 plays in NBA playoff history. Players and coaches knew that a steal was worth as much or maybe more than a defensive rebound. Steals usually lead to automatic attack on the rim with favorable numbers, 3-on-1, 2-on-1, pure breakaway down the floor. So who in 1973 named it and had said we need to have it? There's no clear record about the steal of one person, a smoking gun, saying, let's name it a steal and let's make it a stat. But we can see the forces or the force that pushed it over the top in the early 1970s. This is Harvey Pollack, an unselfish preservationist of basketball's history. He was keeping his own private statistics, including steals and blocks for the Philadelphia Warriors in 1946. That's before the NBA was formed. When Mr. Pollack died at age 93, he had spent 70 years with the Philadelphia organization, a human computer using a pencil and a yellow legal pad. If I could interview Mr. or Miss Steele, I think a response might be, I really appreciate Mr. Pollock representing me as a worthy stat. My twin, the block, we were the last generation to be recognized as a box score must before the computer age. We still argue about who's most important to the game. We came to the conclusion it's a draw since we both prevent a shot. I feel good today everyone knows I'm a momentum changer, the catalyst to a game-deciding 10-0 or 15-0 run. You can get a triple-double with me, but I'm proud to say I'm the most difficult of the stat line to get double figures in a single game. I'm not the only one in the stat family that took 80 to 90 years to be recognized, so I'm not bitter. I love being part of it now, and there are so many stats being added to our family in this analytics age. But I welcome all of it. Dr. Naismith would have embraced today's intellectual and mathematical tracking of the game because he always said, we don't need brute force. Basketball is a sport of science and thought. And you're on the coach's road where basketball coaches travel along with passionate hoop enthusiasts. Please subscribe. Coach Burrows, over and out.